Boom.
Just the logo needs a little update. We're live. Here we
Yeah.
are.
We are.
Welcome back to Batflip Entertainment. Wait, hang on. Welcome back, everyone, to Batflip Entertainment College Football Show, presented by Batflip Entertainment and Batflip Breaks. I'm your host, Hank. Cooper's with me. Hello, Cooper.
Yes. Hello. How was
We're
your
missing
Christmas?
Adam. How was? Oh, I was great. How was yours? I didn't
Mine
do
was.
anything.
You didn't do anything.
No, I just stayed at home.
Anticlimactic. Thought a lot was going to happen during Christmas, but it was pretty boring.
Okay. Well, it tends to be that way as you get older and you're no longer excited about Legos and erector sets and stuff.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Magnetics. Did you have those things
I
when you
did.
were a kid? I never figured them
Actually,
out.
maybe
Don't tell
that's
me you
what
play with them.
No. I think I have some of the. You know what? Dead ass. I think I have some on my fridge, and I use them as magnets. You want me to go get them? I can.
Bring them for next show.
Oh, okay. I'll have 'em
Unless you want to go and make this really awkward with me just staring.
No.
At you. No.
No, I'm not going to do that to you. You know,
Pick your camera up and take us to your refrigerator, Cooper.
My cord's not that long. I would, but
Okay, so you got magnetics for Christmas. That's what we figured out.
yes,
Okay, that's good.
like a truly autistic kid, I'm all into magnets.
This is a great Christmas for you then.
It was.
So, do you notice we are missing Adam? So I honestly don't know where he is. He didn't even call in sick. He was just a no call, no show. So, obviously, we missed last week with Christmas, but we're back to, I guess, preview the quarterfinals. We had our four, right? Yeah, 4 first round games. Oregon over JMU, Mississippi over Tulane, Miami over A&M, and Bama over Oklahoma. And in general, I'm not going to go into a full recap. Cooper, I want to know who was your most surprised, or what was the most surprising result, or I guess game there, team in that first round.
The
Doesn't
A&M,
necessarily have to be one that wins. It could be surprising.
well, I have two
either way.
then. I mean, the obvious one is the A&M Miami one. Both Adam and I, if you guys go back and watch that last show we did a couple weeks ago, Adam and I both picked A&M. I had no belief in Miami, but what a shocker! The committee can back up their pick of Miami over Notre Dame with with Miami getting the win over an A&M. Say, see, we were right. That was a surprising one to me. I was also kind of surprised how low scoring a game it was, only being 10-7. And if I were to not do that one though, any other surprise? I mean, surprised JMU were able to get as much points in garbage time in the second half there after getting blown out in the first half against Oregon. Good for them. It was kind of like, hey, we ain't gonna win the game, but we can at least have fun and say we scored, a ton more points and we didn't get blown out by 50. But
It was interesting. Just the numbers to that game were interesting because I think at one point Oregon had I want to say almost 40 points on 20 plays, something like they were averaging 2 points a play.
mm-hmm.
And JMU had, I don't know, 3 times as many plays and 7 points or something like that. It was just the stats were odd for that to continue to be like a 2 to 3 score game late, where it's something weird does happen. This becomes a 1 score game rather quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But always felt like it was in Oregon's control. So that was fairly interesting.
Yeah.
I would say what I was impressed, I guess impressed isn't the one, disappointed in the most was Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my more surprising, in a sense that they weren't ready. It's or they were just that overmatched, one or the other. I don't think Tulane was the best team in the American, but obviously they won the title. They got there. Blah blah blah. Um, Retzlaff at quarterback. When they lost to Mississippi the first time, it was only like his second or third start. I figured it would look much better the second time around, and I don't know, maybe for a quarter and a half it looked okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I expected that to be closer than it was. So it's
Yeah.
a little disappointed in that. The Miami thing, I'll get to why I wasn't too shocked by that. And the other two results, I think we were. I mean, Bama's going to Bama.
Like I said in the last show that we did, it is the most SEC thing this year for Alabama to get destroyed in the SEC championship game, look terrible, and have negative rushing yards, and then to show up in the first round of the playoffs and win against Oklahoma.
You see, when they woke up, too, it took them a quarter and a half.
Yeah.
So they've been asleep for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, all that aside, let's get into general bowl season, and I want to have a nice conversation about how we feel about the bowl games. So this year, just statistically, there are 41 bowl games, which means 82 teams have to play in at least 82. Yes. Have to play in bowl games. I think there's only 134 FBS teams, maybe 136 now. Over half the country plays in bowl games. Not counting FCS schools, playing FCS schools. Statistically speaking, you're going to have, 8 to 10 of those teams that have a losing record going to bowl games?
Yeah.
I think is how that math works out. I think the general consensus is that there's too many bowl games, right?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
So first of all, here's a generic question: do you like bowl games?
I do.
Okay.
Like during this time
You're
period.
the bowl game expert. Okay. You're our bowl game expert.
Okay. Because I went to one.
Yeah, that's one more than the rest of us.
You've been to a bowl game.
I've been to Army Navy.
So you've never actually gone to like a random bowl game before?
No. Not that I remember.
Really? That surprises me. I would have expected you to, hey, I went to the Fiesta Bowl or something like that sometime.
I go bowling military bowls in Annapolis, but I didn't go down to see that.
Oh.
I should have. Pitt lost.
Missing out.
Right, but you've had the bowl game experience, so you tell us.
My bowl game experience, I went to last year's Duke's Mayo Bowl that the Gophers were in against Virginia Tech in Charlotte. And the feeling of like going to the game and the game itself was a fun game. Like it's still sitting and watching 4 quarters of football. So it's inherently, as a football fan, going to be fun. If you asked me, is it worth going for the experience of like just a fan? Yeah, it was. I enjoyed myself because even some people would be like, I don't want to, take the trip to Charlotte. So if there's something near me, I'll go. I think if you make an experience out of it, it can be fun. But if you're just going like it's just a game that's in your town and just happens to be at a football stadium that's near you and you go, I don't feel like, again, depending upon what bowl you go to, if the Duke's Mayo Bowl was down the street from me and Charlotte was playing, NC State or you know what I mean, like any random 2 teams, I feel like I wouldn't go. And it's sad to say because like it's not really too intriguing to me as far as just like a standalone game to go watch. because again, you feel like there's not anything that is inherently important about the game. Everybody nowadays is sitting out. A lot of the guys that are either going to go to the pros or anybody who's good is not going to play in that game because guys are more concerned about playing games that actually matter. They don't have inherent connections to the programs that they're at. This is such a deep conversation because it goes into they don't have connections with their school because of the transfer portal and the connection with NIL of like I can go to this school this year and then next year I'll go play somewhere else. So I have no connection to the Gophers. I have no connection to West Virginia. It's just I'm gonna play here for a year, and then if some other coach gives me an offer to go play at Bama or Georgia because I have a great year here, I'm gonna go there. I don't care anymore about the Gophers or about the Mountaineers. I'm gonna bounce and go there. So knowing that I'm gonna leave, I have no connection to said school, so therefore I don't care to play this bowl game for said school. So as a fan, for me, like this year, I did not care who played in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I only cared last year about who played in the Duke's Mayo Bowl because my team was in it. But again, as far as the other randomized bowls out there, the Go Bowling Bowl or whatever you were talking about earlier, like I don't care.
Now, I would say that I get all of those points, and I think it's hard to watch all these meaningful regular season games throughout, and then you get to the playoffs, right? And now today's day and age has the players starting to sit out bowl games because of injury, whatever. It's hard to then go after 12 regular season games and playoffs going on to look at a bowl game of who'd Minnesota play this year?
We played New Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah. It's hard to look at that and be like, okay, this Minnesota New Mexico game is sort of like a spring practice almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite a spring practice. You still got like it's a going away party while also being a spring practice at the same time in an organized form. And
Uh-huh.
I think it's hard as a fan to look at that and be like, oh, that sounds fun or that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But when you have that gap from January to April and then spring games start to roll around, you're like, oh, what's this team look like? Maybe it'd be cool to see a few plays. So I think that is the harder gap. And I think what bowl games need to do is kind of tie in a full experience fan wise, in a sense. Um, you're never going to get like a full on Army Navy type thing where they roll out the red carpet for everyone before it. It's Jacksonville State playing Coastal Carolina or whatever down there. Like, not that many people are going to do it. But having something like right now, the Pop Tarts Bowl is doing it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something like that. And that what we get lost in is there's too many of them, right? What's the correct amount of bowl games for this to be fun? Like the Pop Tarts Bowl has made it. Mascots, shticks, all of it. Like that's the fun part of it.
Yeah.
The football in this isn't. It's always going to be the product, but the product needs a little bit of help during bowl season too. So find your sponsors, your Cheez-Its, your Pop Tarts, your whatever, and like make it immersive, I think. And that will bring life back to bowl season.
It almost feels like a preseason game or a Hall of Fame game at the end of the year with how many people that sit out. And honestly, like it feels like bowls now are meaningful to the small amount of like hardcore college football fans that are like I'm a Gopher fan, so therefore like if the Gophers are in said bowl, I'm either going to it or I'm watching it because I get to see my Gophers play. But if you're asking the majority casual viewing audience that really honestly only care about watching the best teams. They're not going to care about the miscellaneous 20 some odd extra bowls that take the 6-6 and 7-5 teams that aren't very good and are just, like you kind of say, having a end of season party, which is fun for the
Hmm.
specific fan, but for again that casual viewing audience, they don't care. They're looking to watch the playoff games or to try to watch, the Pop Tart Bowl in a lot of ways because the Pop Tart Bowl had two good teams in it. Like
Yep.
that's the thing. That's another part of it is like if you were to have, we have 41. I'd say you could at least start by cutting it in half. You could
I
cut
have, yeah,
you could cut 20 bowls off and that would be a massive improvement in my opinion.
yeah. If you cut, well, first of all, they're all assholes for putting a bowl game on Army Navy Day. Don't think that they didn't. They tried to sneak that one by me. It should only be Army Navy on Army Navy Day.
Uh-huh.
And I actually boycott football from the end of that Army Navy game to the beginning of that Boise State game. That was about 3 hours later.
Okay.
So I was done. I was done with college football for 2.5 hours until that game started, and I was back in. But point being, you can cut it down to 20 bowls. You're correct. And there's even a layout there where you can start after Army Navy game and have one a day throughout the rest of the year. And it's not too much. Like you do get the eyes. Like, okay, here's a game. There's not 7 of them going on at the same time. There's not too many of them going on at the same time. Put them all in the same network. Highlight players that are not there, which I'm sure broadcasts do, but I think maybe even like a ticker, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Get the people invested again, but we don't need 41 of them. Right.
I think if you also had only 20, you'd get more guys willing to play in those bowl games.
It's harder to.
Yeah, so you inherently create more value for going because there's less opportunity to go play these games. You're only going to take less teams. So you inherently create more value to the players to, hey, we earned the right to go do this. It's not just kind of a participation trophy to go play a bowl game. We are an actual good enough team, and we're a high echelon enough team to get an opportunity to play in the Pop Tart Bowl or to play in the Mayo Bowl or to play in, whatever. We should go and, as a player, you'd be more willing to be like, I want to go and actually play in that game because I feel like I've earned the right to go play in that game and it's worth something versus, random insert bowl here. And what's the point? We're a 7-5 team. Yeah.
It's a money grab, and it's how can we put more money, more incentive into 20 of these than to spread it amongst 41 of them? Because as soon as you get the first 20 to have the same amount of value or more, that's when you can start cutting the bowl games. Because apparently we're not going to cut them when 5 and 7 teams are starting to reject them.
Yeah.
Like imagine if we would have, I don't think we did, but imagine if we would have got a 4 and 8 team into a bowl game. What are we doing at this point? It was already a stretch to be 6 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So if you cut it down to 20, you're truly only taking your top. And that's 20. I'm calling it 20 and the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking your top 52 teams, which I think is fair.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense.
Truthfully, to me, I would take any and all bowl game out of the playoff as well. So you have Rose Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Cotton Bowl, all these other bowls that are in the playoff. You remove them from the playoffs, don't have any bowl attachments to any playoff teams. And so therefore the Rose Bowl is a standalone thing with two teams that are only dedicated to Like, okay, I didn't make the playoff, but I get to play in the Rose Bowl. And you take those top end bowls, obviously, like the Rose Bowl, you take the two best teams that barely missed the playoffs, and you give them the opportunity to play in the Rose Bowl.
I think, yeah, I'm even okay keeping the conference affiliations with each of them, just because it's been historically how they are. So whatever the top Big Ten team is that didn't make the playoff versus the top that used to be Pac-12, I think we're gonna have to redo conference affiliations with the major bowls just because of the realignment and everything. But you get it. I think.
Yeah.
I'm okay with having that. Like that is a tradition. Big Ten team goes and Big Ten champion goes and plays the Pac-12 champion. Been like that for decades. Still was even once we got to the playoff. It was just who's the next team down in each conference.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Pulling those out, you can make the quarterfinals still if you don't want them on campus. You can make them neutral site games anywhere. So I agree. Pulling those bowl games out, it'll add more incentive to playing in those. But I like bowl season, but I don't think we need. Everyone agrees we don't need 41. It's just what is the correct number. I think taking your top, right there at that top 50 teams, essentially, I think that's probably a good number.
Yeah.
And no teams with a losing record.
No.
So even if you do the 6-6, you're still looking at like 72 teams that had 6 wins. Even if you go 7-5, it doesn't really drop off that much. There's only a couple 6-6 teams, so you got to start looking towards that like 8-4, 9-3 range. How you rank them, I don't know. I don't know if you go off like a football power index or some sort of computer model or what, but I think cutting it down to 20 is right where it needs to be for a bowl season. And everyone get a sweet sponsor like Pop Tart Bowl. Yeah. Think about what we're saying when we say Pop Tart Bowl. It just sounds funny to say. But it's an awesome bowl game. It's an awesome game. And it's promoted perfectly. There's entertainment during the game with just the Pop Tart mascots. The Duke's Mayo Bowl has made their own thing with the mayo and the coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Bad Boy Mowers Buggy Grass Clippings Bowl tried that, but I don't know that dumping grass clippings on Terry Smith was as fun as dumping mayonnaise on.
I don't know who
coaches.
Yeah, PJ Fleck got mayo dumped on him last year. I don't know who got dumped on him this year.
I know who got dumped on him the year before that. Neil Brown.
Oh,
at West Virginia.
Nice.
I think we won the Mayo Bowl the year before Minnesota did. So I think we won back-to-back Mayo Bowls.
Oh.
Yeah.
It is also funny, like you'd think like just on the surface, if you were to talk about like what bowls to get rid of, you would think like the Pop-Tart Bowl would be one to get rid of, but it's not. It's like one you want to keep.
Yes.
It's like one of the best bowls, which is just such an odd thing. That they have done
themselves the best bowl.
Yeah, that they have done such a good job of making the game fun. Yeah. Who cares who wins? But it's more just like the game itself is fun to watch on television as a product.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to them, because everybody else, like years ago or any other, again, like on the surface level, you'd think like Pop-Tart Bowl. That sounds like a filler. It's not anymore.
It's not. It's real. And the Pop-Tart Bowl might be the national championship before we're all said and done with it.
Yeah.
You're going for it's going to be a big ass Pop-Tart you pick up as the trophy that holds a football. Do you think bowl games should be played in cold weather environments? That's another good question, I think.
I don't see why not. I mean, it's football. You're playing them around, you're playing them in the middle of winter.
I was thinking about the Pinstripe Bowl there, and it's like do we get anything out of playing college football on a baseball field just because it's Yankee Stadium? Is it worth it? Or could they just play at a normal football stadium?
The players probably think it's cool because they get to play in Yankee Stadium. So it's more so for the players.
Could they
And
visit
maybe,
Yankee Stadium and just play in MetLife? They go up there a
yeah,
week
but
before.
I'm also one of those people that enjoys a snow game. So if like you have like if you're playing somewhere up north and it happens to snow on a day that there's a bowl game, like sitting from my
Well,
couch at home, I think it's fun.
yeah, I want to see them cold, not me.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they're playing at the Giants and Jets Stadium there in MetLife, it's going to be snowing still. You're still in the same area. I'm just saying, you bust them over on Thursday to take a tour of Yankee Stadium. Is it really worth it to do all that to the stadium to play a 3.5 hour college football game?
I don't know. Again, if you're a player,
Mhm.
what's cooler, playing in Yankee Stadium or playing in MetLife? I got to
To
play a
me, I
football
wouldn't
game in
care.
Yankee Stadium. Like personally, I would think it would be cooler as a player to be like, "Hey, I got to go to a bowl game, and I played a football bowl game in Yankee Stadium." Like, that is pretty cool.
That's a fair point. I think I just hate watching football in baseball stadiums. They annoy me with how close there's always that one wall close to the corner of an end zone.
Yeah.
And that's what really bothers me. So I, I like hockey in every other arena that's outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't bother me. But a
Yeah.
hockey rink fits anywhere.
Sure.
A football stadium doesn't really fit, or a football field doesn't really fit into a baseball stadium nicely, at least, I would say.
It's also another attempt to try to make said bowl game meaningful. It doesn't. Again, I don't think it feels as meaningful if you just play it in MetLife.
That's fair. It gives something, yeah, some sort of memory to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think we've fixed bowl season,
Yes, we have.
essentially. Now everyone just listen, whoever's on a committee to fix that.
They should just make
Do
us
that.
commissioners of college football.
We could also, I mean, there's other things you could add to it too. I'm sure there's some sort of system you could put in that like makes it a tournament. You don't have to play any extra games. Like you don't have to make a bracket for it, but I'm sure there's some sort of system of calculation you could be like, hey, this is the winners of bowl season.
Yeah.
Not just whoever came out with top ranking or something. Like there's different. You can make any multitude of things, different goals to hit. Like I don't know, have 500 yards of offense and hold the opponent to less than 175, plus win by 30 gets you this many points. You've racked up all these challenges during bowl season. You're the team of whatever.
What would be like besides just saying you won bowl season? What would really be the reward?
For the team.
Yeah,
It could
team
be
players.
monetary. I'd like to see what, I mean, I know players get a lot of bowl gear and things like that, but I'm curious to see what monetary value the schools start to get from these. And especially now that players can be paid, what are they getting out of the bowl games? If bowl games start paying this amount of money to the schools and say disperse this amongst the players, will you see more players staying and playing bowls? I'm sure to a certain degree. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that'll be interesting. That could be interesting, but I think they need to be a little. They need to get their finances figured out now before we start adding more complexities to the finances
Yeah,
of it. That'd be more of a gambling thing for us as the
yeah.
winners of bowl season kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let's do that on our own next year. Let's pick the top 20 bowl games this time next year. Well,
Mm-hmm.
early December of next year, and let's create our own challenge system, our system thing, and then essentially tell us who the winners of bowl season are at the end.
Okay.
That's going to be our summer project.
All right.
I don't know why I care about that right now, but I do. So we fixed bowl season. Now everyone can watch happy next year.
Yes. I agree.
All right. You ready to preview these games or at least make our picks?
Sure.
First one, we'll do the quarterfinal games. First one's a Cotton Bowl, Miami and Ohio State. That over/under is 40.5. Mighty low for a college football game. Ohio State's 9.5-point favorites. Any keys to this one? Do you see a matchup that you think something one team could take advantage of? One team's got a huge advantage somewhere.
Besides Ohio State being the massively better team in every category, in my opinion, the main thing to me that would have me worried, like I just got a bad feeling that this is going to be a beating. Like it's not going to be a close game in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be by 50, but it's not. I just don't feel like Miami's a competitive team to Ohio State. Ohio State to me is, if not one, number two best defense. Carson Beck only threw for 100 yards and some change last week against or not last week, but 2 weeks ago against A&M. And if Miami's got any shot to beat Ohio State, they're going to need a lot more out of Carson in this next game. The running game was fine, but I don't feel like it'll be there against Ohio State because their defensive line is mean. That defense as a whole is mean. Miami's going to need the best game that they have had all season by everybody in this game to have any shot, in my opinion.
Miami's got, they got big boys. I think they have the best defensive line in the country. And if you look at the Indiana Ohio State game, what was Ohio State's main issue? Sayan got sacked, what was it, 7 times, 8 times?
I don't remember exactly how many, but
part of that I think was really his first time just being tested as a freshman. I think he was kind of holding on to the ball too long, and don't know that it was necessarily that Indiana had some wildly successful pass rush attack. They're not bad, but I don't know that they're 7 or 8 sacks good. I think some of those sacks were on the quarterback. But if Indiana can do that, and Miami's defensive line with what they have with their 2 rushers, who's to say there's not 12 or 15 sacks? I don't know. I think that is something that does play into Miami's hand. I think 9's a bit much for Ohio State. And again, it looked every bit in that Big Ten title game that Ohio State and Indiana were the best 2 teams in the country. But we're also basing that off of Ohio State being the best team to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State didn't really have a tough road to get there. And you see what happens, like A&M. We had them ranked 3rd all year. Their toughest game that they played might have been their only game that they played against a ranked team outside of Notre Dame, Texas. They lost. That's not to say that they're not a good team, but obviously they weren't the 3rd best team in the country. So I think this game's closer than the 9.5. I would take Miami to cover. But also maybe I might sprinkle some on that over too. That over's low. If Miami covers, this game goes under. But if Miami doesn't cover, this game goes over.
Okay.
That's why I think it gets out of hand. and essentially Ohio State's going to cover the 40.5 themselves. So I'd probably lean towards Miami covering that 9.5. I think you'll have a one score game late where Ohio State's defense probably stands up and makes a play.
I just, I have a feeling. Still think that Ohio State's weapons are good enough to at least put up 20 and some change, maybe like 21, 28. I just don't know how Miami scores more than 10 against this defense. In my personal opinion, that's been like I've seen so many games now. I mean, I'm wearing the sweatshirt because it's like this is that team's strategy of like you hold the guys to like almost nothing, and you don't really have to put up a whole lot of points, and you'll still win a ton of games. Like that's Ohio State's team more so. It's not on saying. Saying, like you said, he's a young guy who's a freshman and he's not been in these situations. So it's not more so like the offense is that great. It's just I feel like the defense is just that good that they will just hold them down and won't let them get anything.
It
And
could be.
a couple weeks ago I said, the Carson Beck that I was expecting to show up at A&M and throw 3 to 4 interceptions. This might be where Carson Beck shows up and throws 3 to 4 interceptions. Like, because that's how good this defense is. That's how I feel, at least.
That's fair. I mean, they could, but that's why they play the game. And then for us, I think this was the game that you and Adam missed, right? And
The Miami A&M one?
Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations.
That was the only one that collectively, I'd like to put it on record. I picked all of the playoff games correctly, but I was overruled in the A&M Miami one.
Yes.
So we did have, as a collective, Ohio State advancing past what would have been A&M, but I think we both have them advancing past Miami.
Yes.
I kind of secretly hope that Miami does win. That would put full chaos into this playoff.
It would, yes. It would.
A really, really, really good Cotton Bowl would be great for college football just because it, again, gives Miami a little bit more credibility back. And then the nostalgia of the 2003 Fiesta Bowl. Like, that's really going to play into it. If this game's a dud, Miami's going back to the cellar.
Yeah.
So, next one we got on New Year's Day is the Orange Bowl. Oregon, Texas Tech. Oregon is a 2.5 point favorite with the over under at 51.5. What do you think about this
one? I had this one, so I did my own bracket off the side. I still had this one up, and I feel like this is the one I disagreed with you on. You and Adam on. You guys, I think, both picked Texas Tech. I actually have Oregon in this one. Oregon has been kind of up and down throughout the season. Early on, I had them picked as like the best team after they beat Penn State, and then we figured out that that Penn State win wasn't as big as a deal as we thought. They have been a very quietly still very good team. I feel like they're a bit overlooked here. Everyone's really high on Texas Tech. I don't know. I think it's a close game, but that flashes of like Heisman look that we got from Dante Moore earlier in the season, I feel like might show up again here. And I think Oregon could sneak this one out. So I'd have Oregon over Texas Tech in this one.
I still got Texas Tech, and I don't really have a reason other than they're just solid everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that Arizona State one, which I will take that out because of the quarterback situation, I believe the statistic is they've won every game by double digits, and I think they've covered every other game that they've played, if I'm not mistaken. And I can fact check that right now. Yes. They're 12-1 against the spread this year. Their one was the loss. but it doesn't look like they like overs. So if you want to bet the under in that, go ahead. Um, I just haven't seen enough from Oregon. This is, I think this spread looks right. These teams are probably about as evenly matched on paper as any of the other games. It's a full on toss up for me. I don't trust Dante Moore yet. And I think Oregon played a soft schedule. You could say the same against or about Texas Tech, but they did beat the winners of the Pop Tart Bowl twice.
Yeah.
BYU. If you win the Pop Tart Bowl, you're a big deal.
That is true. Yeah, that's a legit win. I think it's almost like, I don't know if maybe I do have a bit of a bias here because it's that weird thing of like, I feel like people are doubting Texas Tech because of the fact that it's a Big 12 team. So it's not a Big 10 or an SEC team. So therefore, people are hesitant on it. Yeah. And I think this is honestly the prove it game for like a Big 12 team. In my
ACC
opinion.
just took down the mighty Big 10 last week. And the ACC is by far the worst conference.
Yeah.
An ACC team that didn't even play for the ACC title game, mind you.
Oh, you mean the Miami A&M one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but it took down an SEC team that we feel like looking back now is like an
that's how we
overrated them.
That's how everyone does it. Once they start losing, they're like, oh, they're overrated. But then when you keep Bama, the team like Bama there, we're saying the wrong ones are overrated is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Bama's probably not overrated where they're at, but an undefeated or a one-loss A&M sitting at 6-7 is probably overrated. Don't.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna. I was like, why did you say that? Don't say that.
I don't even understand it, but I knew what you were alluding to. I'm too old to care about whatever these trends are.
It is I'm not going to even explain it because it's not even worth an explanation. It's just the dumbest thing on the planet.
Okay. Let's move on to the Rose Bowl then. Rose Bowl. It's got Bama and Indiana over under 47.5. Indiana's a 7-point favorite. What do you think?
Oh boy, this is where Alabama comes back down to earth again and reminds us that maybe they shouldn't have been in. I mean, it's a problem of like, you can pick how many of these teams should have been in, but I think that Indiana, this is where maybe the decimation comes of like 40-some points because like Bama can't run the ball. Indiana knows they are prepared. I got Cignetti probably is going to have this team so ready to take. It's not even going to be.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I mean Indiana's riding high from the Big Ten championship win. I think they'll be humble coming to this game. They're not going to come in cocky and overlook Alabama. I think that this is a easy Indiana win over Alabama.
Alabama's got to figure out how to run the ball.
It's too late, dude. You had to figure this out weeks ago. They still can't run the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball all year.
Turn around and give it to Proctor. Who's going to tackle him? They said they already line him up wide and throw it to him. Just turn around and hand it off to him. What are they going to do? Tackle him?
I don't know. They get, yeah.
He's 370 pounds.
I don't know.
That's like I said last week. It's still Alabama. I don't care. They still got the dudes. And they showed it last week. They just they're not consistent with it. And I don't know if I trust Cignetti yet. Cignetti is an incredible coach. But in reality, he's only won one big game thus far. Can he do it? I think if Indiana wins this game, the national championship is theirs to lose. I think their favorite, whatever the betting favorite is right now, which I assume would still be Ohio State, Indiana might be pretty close. They should skyrocket if they beat Alabama. This is a prove it win for Indiana.
I think your issue is you're looking at this team like it's Saban's Alabama. This is not like, why is it that we can't write Alabama off here?
You wrote them off, but they didn't write back.
Okay, number one, I'm going to ignore that. But like, they beat Oklahoma last week.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, there's a gigantic difference in talent wise of Oklahoma to Indiana.
I don't think there is. I think it's coaching.
I think there's a massive difference.
I think there is between the two teams, talent wise. I don't think there is. I think it's schematics and coaching on Oklahoma's side. But Alabama beat Georgia too. So, like, you could say, well, they only beat Oklahoma, but they beat Georgia.
Yeah, but the SEC has been a gigantic mess all year. Of like, 1 week team looks amazing, and the next week they look like dog crap. I mean, to me, the only two consistent best teams that have put themselves head and shoulders above everybody else is Indiana and Ohio State, in my opinion. It's Indiana by a million. Like, I'm giving Alabama no shot here. If you can't even, dude, Indiana didn't play last week. They had more rushing yards than Alabama or a couple weeks ago in the SEC championship game. Like, Notre Dame, this is what I meant to say. Notre Dame didn't play.
Find the right team.
Give me a second here. In the SEC championship game, Notre Dame didn't even play that week. They had more rushing yards than Alabama did that week. Like, if you're having weeks where you cannot run the ball and you're running negative yards, like, you got half of your offense is inadequate. There's a chance they shut down Ty Simpson, then what? They shut Ty Simpson down. Alabama's got nothing. In my opinion, I give Alabama no shot here. This is not a Nick Saban Alabama team where it's Alabama, so you can never count them out. I'm sorry. Kalen DeBoer is a very good coach in my opinion, but he does not have the team right now that I would give any shot to beat Indiana on.
Fair enough.
It took me minutes to get there, but boy.
I know, I'm still looking at the spread. It's that seems like
I'm honestly
over probably. I would take the over in that game. 47.5.
I would take the over. I'm honestly more surprised, if I'm going to be totally honest. I'm surprised the spread is bigger in the Ohio State game versus the Alabama IU game. I'm surprised that.
Well, you got the SEC bump in that one. Regardless of who's look like what, you get the SEC bump when you're playing the SEC team.
I guess, but still, just again, looking at the two teams' face value, I'm surprised that it's at least not like even, as far as they say, the same spread.
Yeah, and to be clear, back on the Texas Tech Oregon one, as a collective, podcast picked Texas Tech. Yes. For the Indiana Bama one, as a collective, we have picked Indiana.
Mm-hmm. And we collectively picked Ohio State as well.
So, our last one will be the Sugar Bowl rematch. It's Ole Miss's second rematch of the playoffs. Ole Miss and Georgia. Georgia took the first meeting, which I thought Ole Miss controlled most of that game, but over-under is 55.5. Georgia's a 6.5 point favorite. Toss up for me. What do you think?
You know, I was going to say, well, this is where the fact they don't have Lane Kiffin comes into play. We'll get to really tell, was Tulane that bad or is Ole Miss that good, even without Lane Kiffin? We'll be able to find that out in this game, because I have Georgia winning, but I mean, I still felt like Tulane it's a good enough team where maybe they should have been a bit more competitive. I felt like the scores of like the JMU Oregon game versus the Ole Miss Tulane game probably in my head were like flip-flopped.
They should have been, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like I don't know, like the fact that Ole Miss beat Tulane by that much, am I buying into like, oh, maybe there's a chance Ole Miss could beat Georgia here? Like this is the one I'm picking Georgia because it's a safe bet of like Ole Miss doesn't have their head coach, and I still feel like Georgia overall is the better team. Gunnar Stockton's played better towards the end of the season here. But I am still, this is the one where I'm kind of a little bit hesitant. All the other games I've been very confident on. I'm pretty confident in Oregon. I'm pretty confident in Ohio State. I'm pretty confident in Indiana. The Georgia one is the one I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, Mississippi in the first meeting, Mississippi had a 9-point lead entering the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
They did not score the rest of that game. They gave up 17 unanswered.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the numbers, Georgia beat them in every statistical category. I think it's more. I mean, I think it was a odd played game in a sense. I mean, Georgia ran for 200, almost threw for 300. Mississippi, I think, probably just got put in good field position because their yards per play were about the same. They were both about 6, but Georgia ran 20 more plays. So that tells me Mississippi had decent field position. I'd have to watch the game over again to remember exactly how that all went. But,
Yeah.
When you talk about up and down, this is one of those games. I wouldn't even call them up and down. I think these are just two evenly matched teams, fairly evenly matched. Lacey, Ole Miss running back being banged up. I'm curious to see how that affects them. And then, I mean, Chambers has done it all year. Does he got one more in him, essentially?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those things where it seemed like Lane Kiffin could never get over. There's always that one hump. His teams, even back in like USC and things like he just couldn't get over the one. There's one game that would always get him to like 10-2, 9-3 instead of that 11-1. He already lost to Georgia, which would be that hump that I would talk about this year. But is that a Lane Kiffin thing or is that an Ole Miss thing? I guess we're about to find out.
I would think it'd be more. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I would tend to
track
lean.
record.
Yeah.
By the track record, it seems like maybe it's more of a Lane Kiffin thing, but I also think the factor of like it's tough to beat a team twice in the same it's tough to beat a team twice the same year.
Unless you're
the
Texas
same circumstances, unless you're Texas Tech. But this is why I'm saying I'm still picking Georgia. Like I'm not picking Ole Miss in this game, but
I would tend to lean towards the experience in this one, and that would be Kirby.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not sitting here saying Georgia with as much confidence as I did in the previous 3 games. This is the one where if there was a bit of an upset, I would not totally be surprised.
Yeah, and I think the play in this one from a gambling perspective is probably the over 55.5. That first meeting was 43-36. So you're probably looking at another offensive explosion. Georgia racked up 500 yards. Mississippi was shy of 400, 360, something like that. So you're looking at yards. You're looking at points. Might come down to who has the ball last. Pay attention to the coin toss. This is one of those games where that middle 8 that people talk about, the final 4 of the first half, first 4 of the second half. If you can double up that middle 8, that would go a long way in winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be something to keep an eye on there too. But collectively, we picked Georgia to advance off that one, correct?
Yep, because you and I both picked Georgia too. So
Ohio State, Texas Tech, Indiana, and Georgia is what we've got collectively as a Final 4.
Yes.
All red Final 4.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Tech. Yep. All shades of red. Bring them into the center and we'll pick the best one. that's pretty much all we got for
Mhm.
tonight. Unless you have any other comments or any takes you need to get off your chest.
No, I pretty much
Think
got
so.
everything I wanted to say out there.
All right. Well, get your Pop Tarts. Watch some football this New Year's Eve and day. And then we'll be back next week to recap those and then break down our Final Four, which obviously is going to be Ohio State, Texas Tech, Indiana, and Georgia. If you didn't watch the games, you can just come back and listen. We just told you who advanced.
Exactly.
You don't even have to watch them.
Nope.
But you should because it's fun.
Mhm.
All right. Like, click, subscribe. What other? Give it a click. Subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. Send a comment. Make fun of Adam because he's not here.
Sure.
And the voice of God isn't in here, is he?
No, it's just you and I.
No.
It's been you and
Alright. I guess we're going to be carrying this going forward. So we'll think of fun things to do.
We're the only two committed.
I know. We will be back next week, though. Normal Wednesday nights. This might still drop normally on Thursday. I don't know how Damien does it, but
I'm in control.
you are the captain now.
I am the captain of this one, at least. Yeah.
All
I
right.
decide when it goes up.
All right. Well,
4
That's it.
a.m. on Wednesday. Just those early morning guys.
yeah. Have fun watching the quarterfinals, guys. We'll see you next week.